Welcome to ADCO Aviation. On the 7th video, I left y'all with 2 covered and waterproof wings and ailerons. First off, I'd like to stop and thank each of you for taking the time to watch my videos. At the time of recording this video, I have over 450 YouTube subscribers with almost 2,000 views within the past 28 days. That's crazy, my friends. The first video of my Legal Eagle XL build has over 7,100 views currently. I'm just humbled. And what's more than that is the number of you that have reached out to me privately. Well, all I can say is thank you. Now let's get on with this long overdue quick update. As some of you know, my original plans was to have John weld my fuselage, and I was going to do the rest. Well, let's just say that didn't happen. I've always wanted to learn the skill of welding tubing as well. Around the homestead, I've always made poor attempts with stick and wire feed welders with so-so success. So that's why there's been this great lull in my XL progress. I'm not afraid of the fitting up process. I think I'll show y'all just how easy that is. So please don't let that worry you from building. And here we go. I didn't take any pictures of laying out the workbench. Basically, I popped a chalk line down the middle and carefully measured and marked out the bottom outline of the fuselage from the plans, drawing out each station, using the center line as the primary source. I then laid out these 2 5/8 inch tubes, the bottom 2 longerons, placing blocks to hold them in place. If I was going to do it all over, I've gone to using 3/8 inch clamps I got from the local hardware store. Anyways, I just marked and sliced off the edge and repeated the process for the other side. More on how I sliced them in a minute. From this picture, it looks like the left side is a hair larger, but in real life, they look perfectly mirrored, and it is that simple. Next, I placed a temporary spreader bar, which is actually a scrap piece of 1/2 inch EMT electrical conduit, about 1/2 to 3/4 inch aft of station number 3. My intentions are to have my bends just aft of the gear wing fitting plates. I heated the longerons with a torch to a dull red color and gently bent the tubes to follow my parallel marks on the table. So here's the way I fitted up my struts. First, I made a quick marking guide from a scrap piece of 2x6 about 40 inches long. I made 2 dado grooves, one for the 1/2 inch tubing and one for the 5/8 tubing. Basically, I used my table saw, making many passes to make each groove just shy of half the diameter in depth, and of course the width of the diameter of each tube. So for the 1/2 inch tubing, I cut the groove 1/2 inch wide by about 0.23 inches deep, and 5/8 inch wide by 0.29 inch deep for the 5/8 tubing. This allows for you to make 4 equal index marks on both ends of your tubes to help keep your fish mouths square. Hopefully this will make sense in a minute. This block also came in handy holding the tubes for cutting. The next step to fitting the tubes was to transfer all your marks from the workbench to the longerons themselves, allowing you to measure the distance from point to point. So I took this measurement and cut the tube square to that length, and using the 2x6 marking guide, I marked all 4 quadrants on both ends. Taking the strut back to the longerons and laying it on top, I marked where the 2 tubes meet on the side mark. After doing this for all 4 of the connecting points, I drew out point to point. Hopefully this makes sense. In my brain I could just see it happen. Next, I take the piece to my disc hander, making sure to hold it truly vertical, your top mark on top dead center, so to speak. I sanded from point to point. On this first one, I made it a tad longer just to make sure that I was doing it right. I just went back to the disc sander to shorten it little by little. Once 90% there, I took my grinder with a flapper disc to clean it up and make the final fit up. So let's take another look. Take your measurements from the markings on the longerons. Cut tubing to that length. Lay struts on top of longerons. Make your marks and sand to approximate shape. By the way, in theory you can use math and the 1/3 diameter of tube rule, or you can print out the templates you can download on the web to mark these out, but this method just simply worked and was quick. I had all struts, including the diagonal struts for the bottom fuselage, done in way less than an hour, and that included taking pictures and stopping to figure out what I was even doing in the first place. This method even worked flawless on the long tapered cuts for the diagonals. Once again, let's step through the process I used on those non-standard joints. We took the measurements from the markings transferred to the longerons, cut the tubing, laid the diagonal strut on top of the longerons, made your marks where the two pipes meet, and sand to approximate shape, finishing it with the flapper disc. Easy peasy. So that gets us caught up to present day. And yes, I've been practicing welding. Just about the time I feel safe to start tacking my fuselage together, I'll make a huge hole in my practice pieces. And I sure don't want to do that on my frame. You know the old saying, those who can't do, teach. Well, while I've always said these weren't meant to be a how-to video, with that saying in mind, I'm pretty sure I can tell you how not to weld. I can probably tell you all the ways to ruin your tungsten, and how to melt your tubing to nothing in no time flat. But we'll get there together, and I want to say thanks again for all y'all's support. Hopefully I'll get a chance to meet some of y'all next week at Leonard's 99th birthday and celebration of 25 years of Legal Eagle, either at his hangar on the 10th of June or possibly in Oshkosh at the end of June. I sure think it would be special for Leonard for as many of us that can show up and support all his hard work. I hope y'all have enjoyed this video and hopefully found some information helpful. And if you're on the fence about building, maybe you'll see if this country boy can do it, you can too. I'm placing copies of all my videos on Odyssey and Rumble now as well. If you like these videos, please like and subscribe. Thank you, and God bless.